This is part 2 of our Hudson River series. In this episode, we're going to look at some anchorages north of Manhattan that are nice places to visit and spend the night. 15 miles past the George Washington Bridge, you'll come up to the Tappan Zee Bridge, which brings you right into Haverstraw Bay. When you get into Haverstraw Bay, this is one of the widest areas of the Hudson River north of Manhattan. A great boating area. It's all relatively deep water in this entire bay area. There's a large marina here called Haverstraw Safe Harbor Marina. It's a well-protected marina with a lot of amenities. You have gas and pump out. You have boat repairs. There is a restaurant with dock and dine with their own dock, so you could pull right up to the restaurant in this area in this area right here. Nice marina. They do have a pretty well-stocked ship store, and they do have maintenance facilities on site that you can pretty much care for any repairs that you may need. One of my favorite places to stay overnight is Croton Point, which is just east of Haverstraw Marina, right off the Hudson. It's sandy bottom in this entire area here. You're protected from south and east and pretty much northern winds. You're only exposed to any western and northwestern winds at this point. Very popular area for boaters to go spend the weekend at, rafting up. You're protected pretty much by wakes in this area because people tend to slow down coming in here because it's such a popular point to visit. Directly west of that point and south of Haverstraw Marina is another very well protected cove called Bowline Point. Now this area, I made a separate video all into itself about how to get in here because it's a little tricky getting in this area due to the rocks on the north side of the inlet. However, getting in here, most larger boats could even get in here. It's about 12 feet deep as long as you stay south of those rocks. But once you're inside this Bowline Point, the water is very deep all around in here. I've seen sailboats anchored at this spot here. Anchor holds very well, sandy bottom. There is a pier over here, however, boats aren't allowed. There's not a whole lot of opportunity to dinghy to shore in this area, but it's a nice protected cove. You're protected from all directions as far as wind. Nice place to spend the night. I've stayed here a couple nights with no problems. Just watch my other video about how to get in here and what we did as far as being safe. But not a problem at all if you know where those rocks are. Heading north from the Haverstraw Bay area, you could continue up the Hudson. You're going to pass the Indian Point Nuclear Power Plant right at this location here. You'll start to round the point, Jones Point here, and heading towards the Bear Mountain Bridge. So here we are at the Bear Mountain Bridge. And Bear Mountain State Park is on the west side of this bridge. There's many trails going up and through the mountains. The Appalachian Trail, as I said, goes through this area here. There's a lot of through hikers, a lot of opportunity to stay in lean-tos overnight in the park. You could also camp and hike overnight in these areas. An opportunity to drop anchor is just south of the Bear Mountain Bridge in this cove here. There's a small pier area here that you should be able to dinghy over to, and at that point you could walk up towards the park. There's not only the park there, but there's also a visitor center. There's rustic hotels. The Bear Mountain Inn is at this location. There's also the Bear Mountain Trailside Zoo. Not too much further north of Bear Mountain Park, you're going to be approaching West Point, which is right here, right before the bend. A little further up the river, you'll head towards Newburgh. If you get over to here, to this island here, Palapal Island, this is an old munitions castle that was on this island. You can still see ruins of that all around here. You could get up very close to it. You could dinghy around it, kayak around it. There's actually kayak tours that visit this area often. This channel here, you could enter, and I've anchored up in this location right around here in nice deep water. You're away, the currents aren't too bad. You're pretty far away from the main channel, so the wakes aren't too bad from passing boats. But a nice quiet area to stay overnight with the backdrop of all the mountains and the island, the ruins and all. One other location I'd like to bring to your attention that's just across the river from Bannerman Castle. There's a small park that you could dinghy over to and take the dogs for a walk just west of Cornwall Yacht Club, and it's in this area right here. It's not recommended to stay in this area overnight as you are exposed to wakes and waves from the river. It's a nice place to stop and stretch your legs for a little walk. Now you're getting into the Newburgh area. This is the city of Newburgh. Up this area, there's a lot of dock and dine in this area here, the Newburgh waterfront. You could see all the restaurants pretty much from the water. The municipal dock here does take transients. You can do dock and dine for the restaurants here. I believe they charge a nominal fee for that. So heading north from Newburgh, I'm going to try to fast forward quite a bit. You'll go underneath the Newburgh Beacon Bridge. You'll be passing some small marinas on either side of the rivers. There's some locations to get gas and pump out. The next location, which I suggest you may want to stop at, would be here at this location, the Sopas Island, which is just south of Kingston. This is a nice area. You may want to drop anchor and explore this island. You could kayak around it. It's got a lot of sheer rock walls right up next to the island, and the water's pretty deep, at least on this side of the island. If you're able to anchor in this area, then dinghy over to the shore. There are some walking paths along this little island, and a nice place to check out if you want to take the dogs for a walk. And really nice to kayak around or take a dinghy around and explore this island. It gets a little shallow on this side with rocks, so you just want to be careful there. But a nice place to stop off. You're not going to get any wakes from the main channel on this side of the river, but it's relatively quiet here. It's near a marina, so people typically slow down in this area. So that's not too far south from Kingston. Let's see, here we go. Kingston Inlet, Roundout Creek it's called. This is a really nice place to visit. There's lots of old tugboats and ferry boats along the shoreline that you could check out. There's a lighthouse at the entrance. There's a museum here, the Hudson River Maritime Museum, right before the first bridge you reach. Just past the bridge, there's a municipal dock where you could get a transient slip relatively cheap. A little further up, you can get gas at this location at Roundout Yacht Club. However, what I do suggest you may want to do is take your boat all the way up the creek, almost as far as you could go, and you just stay in the channel. It does it's relatively deep enough for any decent-sized boats up to 6 feet. And just at the very end, there's one last bridge, and then there's a spillway, a waterfall right in this location. Where you could drop anchor around here, or if you took your dinghy up, if you were transient at one of the marinas, and take a dinghy up and check out this spillway. Really nice when the water's flowing. It's a good, like maybe 8-foot drop in water, but a really nice place to visit. A lot of people take their kayaks up that direction. So I do highly suggest and recommend going to stopping over in Kingston if you'd like to check that out. North of Kingston, you could just stay in the channel. Remember, there's a lot of commercial shipping going up and down the Hudson, so the channels are very deep. Just watch some of the shallow parts along the river. Your best case is just to stay within the channel. You'll pass some small towns. You got Saugerties here. You're able to get gas at this location. You'll be passing some smaller marinas along the way. Another inlet you'll approach is the Catskill Creek Inlet, and there's a restaurant right on the inside of the inlet. There's some gas and a marina a little further down, some yacht clubs as you go further in. A small park with free docking right at the point over here, with some small floating docks in this location. You can take the dogs for a walk in this area. You can or may be able to find some spots to drop anchor at the mouth of the inlet. There are some sailboat moorings along this area, and the water isn't too deep. You don't have too much room, but I did drop anchor and stayed overnight in this area at one point in the past. Some larger boats sometimes stay in this area here, which is outside of the channel, and it's a good depth where you could drop anchor, and you could always dinghy over to the shore if you'd like from this location. Right, further up north, the next major town we'll pass will be Athens on the west side of the river, and then on this other side you have the city of Hudson. Both sides have municipal docks that you could dock at. Athens has a free municipal dock. You could dock for the day. There's no overnight docking there. Not much there, maybe a couple small restaurants. There's a nice breakfast lunch cafe, and then a really nice restaurant right along the shore where you could have outdoor seating. There's more on the Hudson side if you wanted to stay over here and get transient slips, restaurants, and bars, and pubs, and shops, and stuff like that. So you can take the river on either side here going up the Hudson. I usually take this side. You want to make sure it's no wake coming through here. This area here is a lot safer to do dropping anchor for the night. The water, the depths are nice. The current's a little bit less than the main channel, and you're out of the main shipping lane, which is on this side here. So a nice place to stop over for the night here. This island too is a popular location where you'll see people beached along the sandy beaches here. Okay, continuing up the Hudson, you'll come to another set of islands here and some little inlets and tributaries here. This location here called Gaze Point is a popular location. Both of these, this one island here by itself and then this island here, you'll see boats on weekends pulling right up to the beach. There's a sandy shore in this location, sandy shore around here. Just watch the low water as you get closer to the beach. You can anchor a little further out and dinghy in. People set up camp here pretty much on the weekends, and there are some campsites, fire rings, tree swings that you could take into the water. So a nice place to spend the weekend. Just watch some of the low water. A little further up the river from Gaze Point, you'll come across the town of Coxsackie, which also has a free municipal dock right around this area here, and a small walking park, a couple shops and restaurants in the town. It's a very small town. You can drop anchor in this area. Just watch some of the low points. This line right here is actually a shoal that you need to watch out for. Watch this low water right here. There is plenty of room to get around this area. Just watch the low areas between the rivers, the inlet. You're able to take this inlet, which I take very often also. You'll be passing Coxsackie Yacht Club. You could anchor anywhere in here. There's all pretty good deep water. Not much traffic other than what's coming into the yacht clubs. And you get a lot of transients drop anchor in here. Further north on the Hudson, we're getting closer to the locks up by Troy. But the next safe area you could actually drop anchor would be right at this location here near New Baltimore. It's called Hoftaling Island, and the river splits at this location. There's a small marina over in this location, but if you follow the channel in, there is a lot of locations in here where you could just drop anchor. A lot of boats on weekends stay here. Transients, loopers and all will drop their anchors along in here. It's relatively protected unless you have a strong north or south wind. Keep in mind you do have currents from the tide still, even all the way up north at this location. So you are going to swing on the hook. The holding is pretty good in this area. it's tough to get over to this island as far as taking dogs to walk on this side because the weeds go all the way right down to the water line. There's some beachy area in this area could take it, but this yacht club that's not even on the chart, I don't believe, but you can't miss it over here. It's the Hook Yacht Club. You could also transient in that marina if you'd like also. All right, if you continue up the Hudson this direction, you're going to pass my favorite marina on the Hudson, Shady Harbor Marina. They have Dock and Dine, and this is my marina actually, so I'm a little biased in that, but great friendly staff, really nice restaurant, bar and grill. They have in-ground pool for transients. They do have a really nice, well-stocked ship store and some maintenance available if you need it at this location. So I recommend stopping here. We have nice fires on the weekend at the fire pit also. So nice place to visit. So stop by and say hi. Going north from Shady Harbor Marina, there's not going to be any more anchorage locations further north from that point. You'll pass several small marinas along the way. Just stay in the channel as you're heading north. You'll see it start to get a little more urban landscape. You'll pass some commercial shipping docks and commercial freighters as you get closer and closer to Albany. As you head north of Albany, the next major city would be Troy, and they have a municipal docking along the bulkhead, which you could just pull up. They have several hundred feet of free dockage there, and then you could visit the town of Troy and the restaurants and shops in that location. That's a nice place to stop in, and that's your last stop before you reach the Troy Federal Lock, which will be the first lock you hit on the Erie Canal system, or the New York Canal system, I should say. So you'll be able to prepare in Troy before you get to the lock. Make sure you have your fenders out, and then this could be another whole series of videos in itself going through the lock system. So I'm going to end this video here. So if you got any questions, please leave them in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed the video and have a safe trip and safe travels.